MetaMask. For those who may not use MetaMask or may use MetaMask and have no even clue how it operates, what actually happens when you click send on MetaMask? What happens?
Yeah, so when you click send, essentially, I'll go from the computer layer down briefly. But the app, I think MetaMask is written in JavaScript, which makes sense because it's like an extension for your browser. So a lot of stuff's in JavaScript or some similar language. You click the UI button, you click like send, and each button is mapped to like a function or a callback. So something happens when it's clicked. So I imagine, if I were to imagine, the send button probably maps to like, send transaction, the function. So it takes whatever data it's got. It takes, the ETH address, the amount, all that stuff. It packages it up in some kind of structure probably. And it sends it to the function, which carries it to the blockchain. So when it sends it to the blockchain, it basically means that it's broadcasted to nodes. All the Ethereum nodes set up, PulseChain nodes, for example, if we're talking about that blockchain in that context. And by default in MetaMask, until we get the PulseChain wallet, it's going to send them to Ethereum mainnet. That's the default in MetaMask, unless you change the dropdown. And it becomes as a pending transaction. So if you click send, you can go to activity and it says pending transaction. That means it's put in a queue. It's basically put in a mempool, and the mempool is just a bunch of like pending transactions, but it's not confirmed yet. That's the waiting period now. So there's also Infura. Infura is like this like cloud hosted service, and they have an API that MetaMask uses to kind of just make everything easier, faster. They prevent you from getting stuck with too low gas, or they try to tell you about, they try to make you not, or have something, basically make your experience better. You can Google for like how Infura works, learn more about that. But they want to make sure, your transactions aren't getting dropped, and it's just making the MetaMask easier. So they may MetaMask talks to Infura via API over the internet, and Infura runs Ethereum nodes and stuff. So that's all like connected. And then, so with the miners, they sort transactions by the highest gas fee, right? They want, okay, that's why when you send a couple transactions, if you send one with a higher gas fee, even though you send it afterwards, you're probably going to get in a block sooner than you would, even though you send it sooner. So it doesn't matter as much how quickly you send the transaction or what order, it's how much gas you're paying for it, which incentivizes mining, all this stuff. So transactions go into a new block. So the miners are mining transactions or mining blocks. They choose which transactions go into the blocks by how much the gas fees are. And once the transaction is validated, once it's mined, it's put into a block. The nodes validate the transaction, make sure it looks good, it's not crazy. Everything balances out as far as the funds and stuff like that. And then the nodes broadcast the completion. And that's the success you see. Once you see the transaction is sent, success on Etherscan, all that stuff, that's when you know the transaction is complete. The miners, the nodes have done their job, and Infura has helped out. MetaMask has completed the cycle. So that's what happens when you hit send in MetaMask.